Hello and welcome, and I'm going to tell you about going to GalaxyCon 2025. That was me in a Funko Pop stand. And the first thing I'm going to show you is a Q&A session with
I am going to be your moderator host today for this panel. I'm going to invite our super secret surprise guests out here to my IKEA living room, and I'm going to ask them just a few questions myself, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys here who have already started lining up. Hey! Some eager beavers. If anybody would like to join, you can go ahead and start lining up if you have a question. I would say do so now, because the early bird gets the worm. We might not get to all the questions that we have, but we're going to do our best. If we don't get to those questions, Rosario and Iman will be at their booths today. You are more than welcome to go see them at their booth and ask your question. I only have a few rules for my Q&As. My first rule is no requests. No, Rosario, I make homemade hot sauce, and I would like you to try it right here, right now, while you're on stage, while I video you, to put on Yelp for my hot sauce business.
Yes to hot sauce. Everything else don't request, but hot sauce.
To be the bad guy. I picked the one kryptonite that could possibly go wrong. Okay, raise your hand if you have hot sauce in the audience. Thank goodness, we're safe. All right, good. No requests, like I said. But if you have a request, you're more than welcome to go see them at their booth and ask your request to your heart's content, where they can be the bad guy and I don't have to be. My next rule is one question at a time. Our line is going super far back already. To be courteous to the person behind you, please ask one question at a time. Try and keep it as inclusive to both of our guests as possible, so they can both answer, no one feels left out. But if you have a second question, you are more than welcome to get to the back of the line, and if we get to you, great. If not, like I said, you can visit them at their booth. My third and most important rule is please be kind and have fun. Do we have fans of a little franchise called Star Wars in the audience here?
Yeah!
Alright, well, I would love to bring out my super surprise guest. You saw her already. Please give it up for Rosario Dawson! Hello, my dear. Super surprise. Good to see you. Yes. And you know him as Ezra Bridger. Who do we have next up here?
You can call him Bitchy.
Yes. Give it up for Iman Esfandi! Little IKEA set here. Welcome to my living room.
Nice.
Welcome to Columbus, guys. Thank you for joining. I know, docs. Love those. All black is always the answer, I feel.
We're all
Those are
wearing
also
Docs?
very cute.
Those Doc Martens?
Mine are Steve Madden's.
Oh!
Yes. A knockoff of something, because Steve Madden loves to do that for us girlies, but who's to say what they are? Not the most comfy shoes. Y'all's are more comfy, I would
These
say.
are very comfortable.
Yeah, I need to get me some. I have docs at home, just not have this.
I hope y'all are wearing comfy, sensible shoes.
Yes.
Yes, it's a big place.
It was a hike to get here from the exhibitor hall. You had to cross Mordor to get here.
I mean, we had a cute little, what was it? Golf cart thing. It was like souped up.
like Mario Kart in the back.
It had Christmas music.
Rainbow Road here.
We need to put some Christmas lights on it, too.
That'd
I've
be
seen
nice.
some dope Christmas sweaters with Christmas lights in them.
Ooh.
A couple of them.
But I've
Great
seen
Star
them, like,
Wars ones. Where you at?
Ugly Christmas sweater.
Any Star Wars Christmas sweaters in the audience?
This is a huge audience. Can we make some
Giant
noise?
fan.
Thank you guys for
Your line is very politely sitting down too.
Oh,
Yeah, I know they're let us just wait. I know they're so cute. I've never seen that happen before. That's so kind. I told them I'm gonna turn it over to them very shortly so they get to the questions.
Well, because she's only going to ask a few questions, but we're really long-winded, so I don't know how shortly that will be, just as you know.
I was going to ask the very long-winded question of how the Ahsoka origin started for you both. I know some people are tapped, some people audition. I heard you premonitioned it before you got the role. How did that happen for both of you?
I was doom scrolling one day, and this guy, Boss Logic, had made a design of me as Ahsoka in a fan cast, and I reposted it, hashtag Ahsoka Lives. And Tracy, who works with Dave Filoni, saw it and was like, yo, Zara Dawson wants to play Ahsoka Tano. And he goes, oh, interesting, you should have the Star Wars account follow her. So then, as the replies are coming in back and forth, because I've been directing with the fans, I'm like, Star Wars is following you, what does it mean? I'm like, I don't know, what does it mean? And then 2 years go by, and then I get a call to do Skype, because this is like 2019 or 2018. I hear the ringtone with John and Dave, and Dave has drawn me in images as Ahsoka, as this new iteration of her, all around, like put up on the walls. And I'm like freaking out. I was so glad that the Wi-Fi was so bad we had to just go to calls, because then I could like go to pacing and like really have my face like show what I was feeling. And they said, we just wrapped the first season of Mandalorian. We're gonna come and do the second one, and we, where she is in this timeline would be perfect for your age, and we just think that you would look great. And Dave says, because he went looking after, when he was really starting to figure out for the casting, and then he saw online pictures of me and Hayden, because we've known each other since we were teenagers. So he was like tripping out, like, why do you look like this character? How do you actually have this connection to Hayden and Anakin? And it was just sort of meant to be, and I have to say that first day doing the sort of first fitting that we did with Shauna, and it was when I think I really started freaking out. There's pictures of me doing jumping jacks, and I could see on John and Dave's face, like, regret. Like, she might be too fangirly for this, because it was just, I'm not cosplaying. This is a new outfit, this is a new adventure, and it was just so exciting because I love this character so much, and it's been amazing to watch her grow and to see where she's going.
It had to be awesome to put like the Leku on for the first time and fully see yourself. It probably was
the
just
contacts go in.
Oh, that
like
was
when it
the
takes
moment.
it to the next level. Yeah.
Cool. Well, what about you, Iman?
That's the wrong
Wow.
species.
I love that story every time I hear it. I didn't know it was Tracy. I did not know. Tracy's the goat, huh? She is so sweet. My story, I'll try to make it as fast as possible, but not miss any details. It is, the best way I can explain it now is I was somewhat doom scrolling as well.
Who said that's unhealthy? Sometimes it leads to great opportunities.
Joy scrolling, and I see some picture going around about this character, or this actor who they want to fan cast as Space Aladdin.
What?
Which Dave doesn't like, by the way. I was like, yeah, Space Aladdin. He's like, no. I was like, oh, my bad. My fault, dog. And I see this character, and I'm like, Space Aladdin? Like, if anyone plays Space Aladdin, I should play Space Aladdin, I love space. And I grew up on Aladdin. That's all it takes. And I look it up, and there's this adult picture of Ezra Bridger by Pandora Young Art. And I see it on Twitter, and I look at the picture, and it has a beard, it's like older Ezra with a beard. And I turn around, and there's this mirror that's next to me, and I'm like, that's weird. And I look just like this guy.
Hold on
Just
a
like
second.
this cartoon, So then I go to I Googled who Ezra is. I'm like, okay, he's like this Star Wars animated Jedi Padawan character, okay. I was not a Star Wars fan growing up. Not that I didn't like it, I just didn't watch it because it didn't reach my little town, Rideau. So then I'm Googling it, I learned a little bit about Ezra. I'm like, okay, let me go watch this thing. And I go try to open up Disney Plus, which I didn't even know I had as an app because I never watched anything on Disney Plus. And I just didn't have any money at the time, so I wasn't gonna buy a subscription. And I almost didn't even go do it because I was like, I don't even have money to buy like a new subscription to what? Watch one episode of some animated kid show? Like, whatever, I almost left it.
I love how you refuse to pirate it. You're like, I won't do that.
Gosh, I don't even know how to do that these days.
That's fair, that's fair.
I don't know how to do it. LimeWire ain't the same.
Maybe I aged myself actually.
What you talking about?
Oopsie.
Did you LimeWire days?
A torrent, maybe.
Torrent, dude. Wrong song, Soldier Boy every time. And then So you got that soldier voice. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna be crazy. And then like so
I
much
think this
later,
guy
6
is
months later, I
crazy.
shot a whole other movie in between and did all these other things. While I'm shooting a different movie, I got an audition, anonymous audition, NDAs, all that stuff. And I started reading the character description. Mind you, Ezra has not showed up since. So in my head, I'm like, maybe I am. And then I started reading the character description, and I'm at my buddy's place. Like, I'm not even at my own place, and Ezra shows back up. At least the feeling of Ezra, like the spirit of Ezra shows back up. I'm like, oh, it's you. And he's like, I told you. You know? And he's like, what do you mean? Of course. Yeah, we gotta do this. Let's do this audition. And I'm like, oh my God. I send them the
This
audition,
guy
do
is
one take per
crazy.
scene, and then the next day they offer me the role. Just like that. Boom.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
spiritual being of
get to see you at the testing with 2 different blue eyes.
That's right. That's right.
Were you
We
trying
met.
to do my eye color?
That's the first time we met. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember now. They walked us up to a mark in front of each other. That's how they had me meet Rosario Dawson. That's so crazy.
Cool.
They were like, Iman, stand here, and then they're not telling me what we're doing, and then they're like, all right, turn around and walk to the center, and I turn around, and it's Rosario as Ahsoka,
So
and all
cool.
these cameras on us, and I'm like, oh my God. Trying not to freak out. I'm in like rough version of what ended up being Ezra's outfit, but it's really rough. It's like cloth and cloth. Like I looked like I made it
Color swatches.
myself. 2 different blue eyes, hair not the right way, beard too long. Like just in like really roughly Ezra. Yeah, it's like getting carved. And then yeah, we met on set. It was cool. And that's
Well, it happened perfectly for both of y'all, and I think I can speak for everybody to say that it's the perfect casting, I would say. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, sweet audience, I will not keep you waiting any longer. Please stand up, introduce yourself, and ask your question.
Hi, my name's Angel, and to bounce off what was just said, yes, absolutely, the perfect casting. I'd like to thank you for bringing characters that are so beloved to so many of us to life and doing such justice with that. So, on that topic, you've both talked about watching The Rebels and Clone Wars. What were the mannerisms, the inflections, the small details you noticed about your characters that you focused on bringing into live action?
There was, I think I played with it a little bit more on the later side. You know, I think listening to Ashley's incredible performance and how she developed this character and her maturity from such a young character to you know, an adult in the Fulcrum and beyond, you know, it was interesting. Like, I think there was a play at first of me trying to match that, but then that didn't really make a lot of sense, especially for where she was, because I kind of like that it shifted from Clone Wars to Rebels, and I kind of wanted to feel that shift. And I think I've been able to, that's I think one of the things I played with a little bit more in the second season is she's gotten a little lighter, because actually, when you meet her, is a Disney princess. Like, she's just like, she came to visit us on set when we were filming, and there were these like mounds of dirt everywhere, and she comes in and she's got these like sparkly cute shoes on, and I was like, oh my God, no one told you that it's filthy where we're filming. And she was like, no, they told me, I just have a lot of these shoes, it's okay. And I was like, you're a princess. Like, I was like, I can't with you. And so it was nice, you know, to kind of think about her tenor and her energy and her pacing and, you know, her calm, you know, in the moments where she kind of loses it. But the physicality, obviously, with the stunt training and things like that, was when I felt the closest to the character. But I definitely really like, there are moments, and there was one scene that we did on second season where Dave came up to me afterwards and he was like, yo, I felt like I was watching the animation, because I did a lot of, she has a very particular things when she's interviewing or she's talking to people. And I know people were talking about when folding her arms, but one of the reasons I do it so much is because certain scenes require a certain levity, and sometimes it can get a little distracting with the leg moving around too much, so sometimes I'll do that for that sake, just to focus on the words. But in general, like, a lot of those postures were specifically done to kind of match. Even like there's one where I'm fighting, I've pushed through the glass, and I do a force with holding the lightsaber, and I know she did that. Like, there were just like little things like that I would throw in, and it'd be interesting because Dave would pick it up immediately. He was just, and I'm like, yeah, I try to pepper it in here and there, just silhouettes. He creates these beautiful silhouettes on screen. You know, it's the performance, it's the story, it's the relationships, it's, you know, it's all the things, but it's also these beautiful images. Like, he really has such a gorgeous vision. And I wanted to just make sure it felt seamless, because I think that was the coolest thing for me, having so much to research. You know, and as we were filming, he's showing me the short that they did of baby Sokka and how force sensitive she was as a child. And, you know, then, you know, afterwards I'm watching, you know, Anakin training Ahsoka to the point where she's getting knocked out unconscious. And, you know, and you can just see, like, that kind of intensity is the reason why she could survive Order 66, you know? And it's nice to have these gaps filled in where you assume that stuff, but then to visually actually see it and then just feel like that's part of her memory, that's part of her experience. It's nice to be able to allude to that, you know? And that was something even Ariana and I played with. And we spent some time to make sure that our physicality was matching across. And I think you really see it. You know, there's so much care that Dave puts into every single detail and scene, and he's such a Wikipedia for everything, and we all depend on him so much for that. And it's nice to do things where, you know, because he's always throwing in Easter eggs for all of you, and it's nice to do that for him, you know, and know how much he appreciates it, because he did such incredible work. Like, we realized, you know, at my table I have a lot of Red stuff, because we also recorded the Red soundtrack at Skywalker Ranch. And we realized that Dave was there creating and designing Ahsoka at the exact time that we were recording. So we were like a building away from each other, like the energy was there. And so it feels very personal to me, this character and her journey and all of it, even for the parts that I missed. And I'm glad that I don't have to miss it. We all get it.